What is going on, YouTube people? Neo Cards and Comics here, recovering from the pajama party last night. I was up all night eating ice cream and watching movies, made myself a little sick to my stomach. Oh wait, that was from opening the box. Jokes aside, we're going to talk about Topps Chrome Basketball again today. And we're going to talk about the one card that actually matters from the set, which is the Wemby. What I wanted to do today was kind of look at early pricing, and it is early pricing on the secondary market for some of these cards. Most notably, the base auto, the refractor, and the base chrome card, compared to the Prism counterparts and the Bowman Chrome University auto, just to kind of see where we're at baseline wise. Now, I do expect the Topps Chrome prices to fall as more supply hits the market, but there are a couple things that I kind of want to track as we move through time here, especially during the early days of these sales. Now, as of time of recording on Thursday night, box prices on the secondary market are sitting at about $500-ish. You'll see 500s, 535s, 575s, 530s. A couple will flirt with 600, but you could probably get one for 500 to 550 fairly regularly. On the retail side of things, it is pretty tricky to find one below 575. We are over here on WaxStat, which is a online database that will show you all the shops that they have partnered with, what their current sales price is, and also shows you what the pricing history was for that product. So you can see a varying range here, most pretty much sitting right around the $600 mark, with a couple going much higher than that at the $650 mark, and even one or two sold out. And you can see this is the price movement for the retail averages over the last month from when it first launched up to where we're at today. Now, I'm actually curious, the comments down below, did anyone actually win the drop on Fanatics or Topps? Because Topps, I got an email saying I got skunked on boxes and cases. On Fanatics, I never heard anything one way or the other. Nothing got charged. I never got an email saying I won. I never got an email saying I lost. So I'm just assuming that I lost, but I don't know. I'm just curious if anyone actually won anything on the Fanatics drop specifically. So that is kind of where we sit as like a baseline for where secondary market prices are at. Now, let's be honest here. The chase in this product is the Victor. It is, quite frankly, one of the few cards that actually matters. I did see the LeBron Superfractor, 1 of 1, got pulled earlier today by Grand Slam Collectibles. So we'll see what that card looks like. I'm sure that will go for astronomical sums of money. The LeBron autos, I think, are pretty hard to hit. I've only seen a couple surface today, and really over the last 2 days across all the breaks that have been happening. Meanwhile, Wemby's seem to be popping up left, right, and center. The weird thing about Wemby's, and this is one of my frustration points with this product, some are on card, some are sticker. It looked like his base autos are sticker, and then everything else, not necessarily everything, but a lot of other, the higher end stuff is on card. Refractor autos are on card, it appears like. And then he also has redemptions. So you kind of got the full gambit here of stickers on card and redemptions, which I was a little surprised about. That I just assumed that Victor's would all be on card. I'm a little disappointed that some of those are stickers. But outside of that, and the rare LeBron hit, the product sucks. There are, which I didn't realize this, I think Ziggy put it in the comments and a couple other people, Curry has no autos in this product. I didn't double check that on the checklist. I'm taking their word for it. I think a lot of us just assumed that Curry's in there, but I guess he's not auto-wise. His card's in there. You can hit a Curry gold to 10, and that would probably be pretty okay. But you're not getting a Curry auto, from what I could tell. So, to me, the big draw here is the Victor auto. You're ripping this product for one player. And that's really ultimately the problem, is this product has no floor. The floor is in the basement. At least on a bad Prism rip, maybe you get a couple silvers, maybe you could kind of, get 25% of your money back or something. Maybe you'll feel a little okay about yourself. Doubtful, but there's at least a little hope there. With this, outside of the Victor and maybe a couple of LeBrons, 99% of people aren't going to want the cards from this product. Brandon Miller will probably do a little okay, maybe Scoot Henderson, but their Prism stuff doesn't even sell for that much. So it's really all about Victor. And that just makes some box openings extremely rough because you could just get destroyed. Take my word for it. Go watch yesterday's video. So on the auto front, we essentially have two choices if you're looking to buy a Wemby either rookie or pre-rookie auto. We have the 2022 Bowman Chrome University in his Metropolitan 92 jersey. Licensed, technically, though it is a overseas league. I don't know how much that matters versus being unlicensed. Not a terrible image. The autograph box is a little bit weird on this card, but very, very popular. PSA 10s, just to give you some ideas here, going for about 4.5K. PSA 9s going for about 2.2K. And raw going for about 2.8K. Now, these don't all line up. This card does not sell super often. It's kind of tricky to find. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But generally speaking, that's what you're looking at. Let's just call it $4,500 for a PSA 10. Let's just call it $2,500 for a raw / PSA 9. We'll just kind of split the difference between those two there and call it square. Not too bad. How about Victor base autos? Now, limited sample size here. I cannot stress that enough. But the couple sales that are out there are all around the $3,500 mark-ish. I've seen some flirt with $4,000. I've seen some flirt with $3,200, especially on some various Facebook groups and stuff like that I'm in. So, here's the question. And now, I do expect this card to filter down a little bit. My first question is this: do we think a couple months from now, once everything kind of settles, does this end up coming down to about the same price point as the Bowman one, sitting at about that $2,500-ish for raw / PSA 9? We're at $3,400 right now on release weekend. So I do expect this stuff to cool a little bit. That's just the nature of the beast. The question is where does it settle at? Can we get that down, or does it get down to that $2,500 mark as supply hits? I think it could, potentially. The market is just going to cool as more and more of this stuff is open. There's only so many potential buyers. Now, there's the refractor angle. I haven't seen where one of those is sold for a good price. There's like one or two listed on eBay. Most of this stuff on the super high end is probably on its way to PSA because people want to go take their shot for a 10 to really make bank on it. So it's probably going to take a while for some of this stuff to straighten itself out, but that's okay. We're just going for a general idea here. So assuming these cards get close in price, even if this goes down to 3K and the Bowman stays at 2,500, but like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this pulled closer to the Bowman for a raw anyway, / PSA 9. Which one do you prefer? The Bowman Met 92 or the Topps Chrome? Now, I get it. The Topps Chrome's unlicensed. I saw some comments and chatter on social about like, when licensed stuff comes out in a few years, nobody's going to care about these cards. No one cares about these cards. Now, for 99.9% of the checklist, you are accurate. I would say that is a fairly accurate statement. The Victor is a little bit of a different bag of cats. For the main reason being, it's actually not a bad looking card. Yes, it's unlicensed. Yes, it says San Antonio on it and not the Spurs on it. But the actual image, the way they posed him, they were very specific about the way that they did this. It works. I don't think the fact, long term, Let's say Victor turns into LeBron, and he is the next best, greatest thing. He's played forever. He's won multiple championships, multiple MVPs, Defensive Players of the Year, all NBAs, the whole 9 yards. People are not going to give a crap that this card was unlicensed. This will be considered his true rookie. Now, where does the Bowman come into play with that? That's the little bit trickier part. I do think the Bowman is protected a little bit. Now, we're going to need some time to completely tell that. And what we need time-wise is to see how much this base rookie was printed. It does seem like a lot of them are getting pulled. The rumors going around the internet are they're like 1 in 4 boxes, 2 per case, something crazy like that. I haven't been able to confirm that. I haven't sat down and watched enough case breaks of this product to see how it comes out. But let's assume there's a decent amount of these. The Bowman, which has been on the market for 2 years now, we actually have some good pop report data on because it's been out for so long. Shout out to GemRate and his wonderful website and Universal Search. If you are not using Universal Search, you're a crazy person, especially for stuff like this. Go to gemrate.com, go up to Universal Search, type in what you want, pick the card that you want, and then it gives you this handy little chart that shows you every single card graded by every card graded by the 4 major grading companies. So you can see exactly how many are on the total population report. Rather than just relying on one or the other, it gives you a full picture of what's on the pop report. Not that the pop report is everything, but it will be a decent chunk of it, especially on a card like this, and especially on a card that is 2 years old. It's the other thing with this card, when they're this expensive, a lot of people will grade it even if it's an 8, just to get it slabbed up, to kind of end questions when you're going to sell the thing. So, as we can see here, the Bowman University only has about 650 copies on the pop report total. It's 644 to be exact. 555 at PSA, 65 at BGS, 20 at SGC, and 4 at CGC. So not a ton of them out there. And I can back this up because I was casually looking for this card at Fanatics Fest and at the National, and I hardly saw any. I saw a couple 10s, but I definitely didn't see very many 9s. So I think that's the one thing that this card has protecting it slightly, is the fact that it's pop report protected to a degree. And what I mean by that is I just don't think they printed a lot of this card. So I like that aspect of it, that it seems like it's going to be more rare. Now, once again, time will tell. There are variations of this card, but there's not a ton of them. And a lot of them are low numbered or short printed. The thing about this card is there's going to be probably a decent chunk of base. I don't know that it's going to be astronomical, but it's probably going to be way more than that Bowman. The other thing is there are way more parallels of this card. And not even of this card specifically. His autograph is on like 4 or 5, maybe even 6 different card types in Topps Chrome. He's on this base, and then there's like 3 or 4 inserts, maybe even more, that his signature is also on. So there is no lack of Wemby choices from 2023 Chrome for an auto. If you say, I want a Wemby auto from either his rookie year or his first Bowman, on the rookie year 2023 Topps Chrome, you are going to have a large menu to choose from. On the Bowman, you're not. And that fact that that is more limited supply, I like the idea of that. I will say I do like the image on the Topps Chrome better. So, part of this is going to be, kind of what you're looking for personally. Now, let's just, for the hell of it, come over here and look at Prism. Look at base and refractors and silvers of the 2 various different companies. Now, once again, it's early in the Topps Chrome cycle. I expect this stuff to come down a little bit. However, things are kind of lining up pretty closely already, so it'll be a fun thing to watch to see how much separation comes in between these 2. On the Victor base, it's sitting at about $50 on a Topps Chrome. His Prism goes for about $30. Now remember, it's release week. That card will come down as more and more get flooded to the market, especially from the retail product once people start ripping that more. So I would not be surprised if that Victor base quickly gets to around the Prism price and actually slides underneath the Prism price. That's going to be a fun one to watch. The other fun one to watch is going to be the Refractor. Right now, there's only a few sales on the Topps Chrome Refractor. They came out of the gates at about 500. They've already slipped down to 400-ish, but very small sample size on that. So asterisks, it could go either way. Silver Prisms raw do about $450 to $500. I've seen these bounce around a little bit, just kind of depending. It's a raw card, so it's a little tricksy. So not far off there either. So we'll see how those two hold up against each other over time. I wanted to get a little bit of a snapshot of this, just kind of check it out to see how it's doing on release week. On release week, they're getting priced close to Prism. I don't know that that lasts. Speaking of population data, I was also curious just to see how many Prisms were graded already. Base Prism is sitting at just under 33,000 total. Wemby base Prisms graded across all 4 grading companies. Now, a bulk of that is PSA, coming in at 30,500 of the 33,000. But still, it gives you an idea of how many of those cards are actually out there. This will be another intriguing thing to watch is what does the Topps Chrome base pop report data look like compared to the Prism base as we move over the next few months. On the Silver Prism, only 4,600 total graded across all the grading companies. Once again, PSA is a bulk of that at 4,200-ish, almost 4,300 for the Silver, accounting for their population report. Same thing. Be interesting to watch how the Refractor starts stacking up, the Topps Chrome Refractor, as that population report builds over time. So, if you wanted a Wemby auto and you think he's going to be the GOAT of GOATs, or he's going to be right there with him, so you're going to hold this thing for a while, but you're not super bougie, you don't need a gold refractor auto or a refractor auto, you're just going to go with a base, save a little bit of money. Are you going with, let's assume, a PSA 9, or basically raw value? Are you going to go with a Topps Chrome sticker auto, or the Bowman auto, which I believe the Bowmans are all on card, so there's that factor as well. Which one are you going with? I could see the case for either or. I think my lean is the Bowman, just due to the Bowman first, which I know in basketball and football hasn't mattered as much as baseball, but that legacy is there. The fact that it's on card, and the fact that it's a little bit more, well, I'm making an assumption here, and that's always dangerous. I'm assuming that this card is more pop report protected. And I don't own either of these cards, so I have nothing to gain one way or the other on these. I do think this card is going to matter, though. This card will absolutely matter even once licensed product comes out. The image is good. I am not afraid to say it. The Victor looks good. The rest of the set looks like trash. The Victor actually looks pretty good. So I could see why people would gravitate to this card, and I think it will help maintain its value in the long term. If, once again, this is the ultimate if, Victor does what everyone thinks that he is going to do. Now, that's obviously the wild card in all this. So this will be definitely something I will be keeping my eyes on as time moves on. I find this stuff kind of interesting just to kind of see how these pop reports grow, how the pricing shakes out. Like, what does the market decide between the Bowman and the Topps Chrome Auto, between the Prism base and the Topps Chrome base, between the Prism Silver and the Topps Chrome Refractor? You can start mixing and matching other things in there, but I think the Prism to the Topps Chrome is a fairly equal comparison. And also, how do box prices go over the next couple of weeks, months, etc., as we move closer and closer to the season actually starting. And then once the season starts, everything will go out the window. So, as always, very curious for your thoughts and comments down below. I will now go back to sitting and staring at the single box of Topps Chrome 2023 Pajama Party that I have sitting on my desk. And when I get tempted by it, I just turn and look at my desk at the pile of cards that I just left sitting there as a reminder of why I should not take the knife to that box and cut the cellophane. That's all I got for you, boys and girls. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.